Hi, welcome. This is a video on polynomial vocabulary. We have a number of things to do, so I wrote out some things to help us go a little bit faster. Um, First of all, standard form. If you have a polynomial, standard form means you put it in decreasing order by exponent. If la forma estándar de un polinomio es en orden descendente por el exponente. So this polynomial, for example, each term has a degree by the exponent on the variable. So this is degree 3, this is degree 2, this is degree 1. There is a 1 understood there. And then if there's no variable, its degree is 0. So the first term would be minus 2x cubed. And then 3 plus 3x squared plus 3x squared plus 5x and minus 7. Again, so the degree here is 3, the degree here is 2, 1, and 0. So now it is in standard form. It is important that you put the pluses and the minuses in between because that is what separates the terms. So over here, when it says, what is this in standard form? Again, this is degree 3, so we're going to say 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 3x squared plus 8x plus 8x and then minus 18. And then go ahead and do number 6 while we're out of here. This one has a 5 as the exponent, so that would be minus 4x to the 5th minus 9x to the 4th. There's no third exponent, so we skip that and go to the 7x squared, so we say plus 7x squared. Then plus 5x, and then finally plus 1, plus 1. Now the degree, what's the degree? The degree is the largest exponent on the variable or the variables of a polynomial. En español, el grado es el exponente más grande en las variables o en la variable de un polinomio. You might see something like this where you have x cubed y to the second power, in which case you'd have 5 variable factors, and so the degree of this is actually 5. Here the degree would be 3, here the degree would be 2, and so the degree of this would be 5. And this is not common in our classes, so you don't need to worry too much about that, but so you can say you've seen it. Podrías ver algo así, x a la 3, y a la 2, x a la 2, y, más xy. Se suman los exponentes en cada variable, entonces el término de este grado, el grado de este término es 3 más 2, 5. Aquí 2 más 1, 3, y 1 más 1 o 2. Entonces el grado de este polinomio es el exponente mayor, 5. Y eso no es muy común en nuestras clases, es que no se preocupen demasiado, pero por lo menos podrías ver de que sí lo habéis visto. Okay. So here, the degree of each of these. Here the degree is 3, and here the degree is 5. Okay, leading term. Well, when you put it in standard form, the leading term, el término principal, is the term that is furthest to the left when the polynomial is in standard form. El término principal, o the leading term, es el término que está al extremo izquierdo cuando el polinomio esté en forma estándar. So, here I can say that the leading term is this 2x cubed here, and it's minus 4x to the 5th here. So I can say here the leading term is 2x cubed, and here the leading term is negative 4x to the fifth. It's just the first term if it's in standard form. How about the leading coefficient? So the leading coefficient, or el coeficiente principal, is just the first coefficient. Now the coefficient, we need to understand what's coefficient. Okay, so the coefficient is the number that comes before a variable. O el número que está a la izquierda de una variable. So here, for example, the coefficient is here negative 3, 5, this is a positive, that's 5, 2, and then there is a variable, there is a coefficient here, we'll talk about that in just a second. El número que está a la izquierda de una variable, aquí menos 3, 5 y 2. If there is no written number in front of the variable, it is understood to be 1. So here and here, we can say in this case, the coefficient would be negative 1 because of the minus sign, and here it would be just 1, positive 1. Si no hay un número escrito delante, se entiende que el número es 1. Hay menos 1 aquí para x y hay 1 aquí para x. No es el valor de la variable. This is not the value of the variable. It's just how many there are. The coefficient multiplies the variable. So 5x squared means 5 times x squared. And because it's multiplication, literally this is x squared plus x squared plus x squared plus x squared plus x squared 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 of them. I have 5x squared. Que el coeficiente multiplica la variable. 5x a la 2 significa 5 por x cuadrado. Okay. So the leading coefficient in this case is 2, and here the leading coefficient is negative 4. El coeficiente principal en este caso es 2 y aquí menos 4. Constant. So a constant is a term without a variable. Es un término sin variable. So here, for example, the constant is plus 5. And constant in math and science and in many other areas in English, constant means it does not change. So here, for example, just to show that kind of, I've got if x equals negative 2, the value of 3x is 3 times negative 2 or negative 6, whereas the value of the 5 is just 5. The value of 3x, if x is negative 1, that'd be 3 times negative 1 or negative 3, whereas the value of 5 is 5. The value of 3x when x is 0, 3 times 0 is 0, whereas here the value is 5. 3 times 1, the value is 3. 3 times 5, the value is 15. And 3 times 10, the value is 30. And so here the value changes depending on what x is, but in each of these cases, the value of the constant does not change. It stays 5. So back here to these examples, the constant in this first polynomial is negative 18. And the constant in the second one here is 1. So this negative 18 and 1 is here, this negative 18 and this 1. All right, what type of polynomial is x squared? So we're talking about the type of polynomial, we're usually talking about this right here. All of these are polynomials. Todos estos son polinomios. if you have a polynomial with one term, that is called a monomial, or in Spanish, monomial. An example might be just like 7x. There's just one term. It would still be one term even if I had 15x, y, z. So long as everything in there is being multiplied, that's still just one term. A binomial, or in Spanish, un binomio, has two terms, 4x minus 3. And here we can see there is one term here and another term here separated by that minus sign. A trinomial has three terms, or un trinomio tiene tres términos. Here we see 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if we go back over here, we're being asked what type of polynomial is x squared? This is a monomial. In Spanish, that would be un monomio. What type of polynomial is 3x to the 107th power minus 4? That is a binomial, because it has two terms. Again, in Spanish, that would be binomio. All right, how do we know if a polynomial is maybe not a polynomial? So here, to explain that, an algebraic expression is not a polynomial if it has negative exponents and or variable or variables in the denominator. So here, 3x squared plus 2x minus 7. Yes, it is a polynomial. Este sí es un polinomio. 3 over x squared plus 2x minus 7. No, it is not a polynomial. It's not a polynomial. No es un polinomio porque tiene x cuadrado en el denominador. This is not a polynomial because it has x squared in the denominator. And then x to the minus 2 plus 2x minus 7, also no, because it has that negative exponent. So if it has a negative exponent or a variable in the denominator, then it is not a polynomial. So not. So let's go back over here. And it says to circle the expression that is not a polynomial. Well, this one is. This one has a fraction, but it's still a polynomial. It's the variable's not in the denominator, so this is also yes. This one down here also is a yes. This one, because of this -4, this is not a polynomial. Here it says create a polynomial that meets the following criteria. Trinomial has three terms, has a constant of 0. Now, it has a constant of 0. We don't usually write that constant. It has a leading coefficient of 11, and it's in standard form. So the leading coefficient of 11, we'll go ahead and start with that one because that is the leading coefficient. So I'm going to say 11. It does not specify the degree, so it could really be anything. I'm going to say x to the 10th plus, and here could be put anything here, 7x to the 5th minus 4x, let's say. So because there's no term in here that has a constant, that would be the same as having a constant of 0, but we don't need to write it. And so that let's just see. Trinomial, yeah, has three terms. Constant of 0, yes. Has a same as just having a plus 0 out here. Has a leading coefficient of 11, yes. And is in standard form, goes from 10 to 5 to 1, yes. All right, and then here one says create a polynomial that meets the following criteria. Has a degree 9, has a constant of -216, and is in standard form. Now this time it does not say how many terms, so it also doesn't say what the leading coefficient is. So the leading coefficient could be whatever we decide. I'm going to say, let's say 5. but it does say that it needs to be degree 9. So I'm going to say 5x to the 9th. Constant of negative 216. At this point, really, I could just say minus 216. And because it doesn't say that it has to be a binomial or a trinomial or a monomial, we could just say 5x to the 9th minus 216, and that would be enough. But if you wanted to add extra terms, that'd be fine. Plus 4x to the 7th power minus 216. Either of those would have been fine. Let's just check. Has a degree 9? Yes. Has a constant of negative 216? Yes. Has no variable with it. And then is in standard form? Yes, because it goes from 9 to 7, and the degree of the constant is 0. There you go.